All of these people, billionaires, oligarchs, in each one of their respective industries, appointed to positions where they have power and autonomy to make decisions that will directly benefit themselves. Another one of the numerous things that the founding fathers were absolutely terrified of having happen, which is why they wrote the Constitution specifically to avoid for things like this. Hey, welcome to another edition of Unbelievable Reality Podcast. I'm Roy Arthur, and off we go. Some of this is really going to piss some people off, and I certainly hope it does, because that's partly my intent here. I want to just really show this in people's faces, so we can really understand what's about to happen. So, 7 days from the inauguration, this is now going to be public record, so I just thought it was important to go through the list of appointments so far from the Trump administration for the highest offices in the land, other than president, and the cabinet offices really are so powerful. Way more powerful than any one senator. They have so much discretion over such huge bureaucracies with massive billions and billions of dollar budgets that are entrusted with probably some of the most important tasks in making sure their department functions correctly to support the safety and security and well-being of the populace of the United States of America, which we happen to be. I happen to be. This is going to be in a series of podcasts on the incoming administration and what is going to happen in this first 30, 60, 90, 100 days, whatever. I am going to talk about other issues that are just as pressing and that need to have a light shown on them once again, always following my concept of trying to make sense of this massive spider web of events, information, and media that we're living in, so that we can see that it is all in one way or another interconnected. However, all that being said, I start each podcast with a book, and this book in particular came to mind after what happened on New Year's Eve in New Orleans. Shocking. I'll bet most of you are like, New Orleans, New Year's Eve, what happened? That was just less than 2 weeks ago. A terrorist attack in New Orleans on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, in case you forgot. Anyway, it brought up the issue of terrorism again. I read this book, Marching Toward Hell. Marching Toward Hell. The author, Michael Scheuer, ex-CIA top-level guy, expert in the Middle East. I don't agree with his political views in the slightest. It's obvious to me he's a rabid Republican and more than a hawk. But his observations on the continued rise of Islam as a religion and the desire to form a caliphate of all of the different segments and factions, I guess is the word I'm looking for, of the Islamic religion. This is a really fascinating study about the after effects of Afghanistan and Iraq and how badly we fucked up, and what those long-term repercussions might be. Now, I'm going to say this though. The terrorist act that happened in New Orleans is a tragedy and horrific and whatever. 15 people died. That sucks. Our biggest fear is not Islamic radicalism right now, okay? That is not it. It's a nice diversion for some folks. We don't know this dude's rationale, etc., etc. But in all, and not to downplay, right now, minimum 40 people dead in the fires in LA in 3 days. And they burn on. Yet another unbelievable reality. The city, the actual city of Los Angeles, not the foothills, the city of Los Angeles is on fire. And if anybody could even imagine, now we've been warned for decades that this was a possibility, so this really truly isn't a surprise, but it's one of those things that you don't ever expect will actually happen. It could happen, but nah, that'll never happen. It does, and it did, and it's happening more and more often, and that is another unbelievable reality we need to tie into our big picture. That's politics. That's on the next podcast. Right now, today, I'm going to try to dive into the incoming positions, cabinet positions, appointments made so far by the Trump administration. I keep hearing online the joke, the clown bus. No, this isn't a clown bus. It's a ship of fools. Not a little bus. It's a ship of fools. Vastly unqualified to do the jobs. These are jobs that they're being appointed to. Jobs. These are not like, this isn't Alice in fucking Wonderland. These are actual jobs to run massive bureaucracies that employ hundreds of thousands, that have billions and billions of dollars in budgets at their disposal. And these massive organizations are what run our country. And that's just reality. Regardless of the stupidity from Doji, Elon, and Vivek, if I pronounce his name right, fuck that shit. You can trim some bureaucracy, sure. Of course, every government in the world is bloated. It's a given. If people would stop taking fucking bribes in our national government, we wouldn't be so bloated. Because then they wouldn't be passing laws to benefit and to grow these departments in unethical ways. That was my rant on that. Watch enough podcasts, you realize that I digress all the time. So I'm going to try to do a short list here that I have compiled over the... I mean, I got notes everywhere. Alright, let's just do this. Right now, there are 13 billionaires that are being appointed to cabinet level positions. You can Google it, Wikipedia it, however you want to verify it. Those 13 billionaires have a net worth of $600 billion. There are only 12 countries in the world that have a higher gross domestic product than their net worth combined. These are the heads of the largest financial corporations, media corporations, oil and gas industry corporations. You get the drift here. All of these people, billionaires, oligarchs, in each one of their respective industries, appointed to positions where they have power and autonomy to make decisions that will directly benefit themselves. Another one of the numerous things that the founding fathers were absolutely terrified of having happen, which is why they wrote the Constitution specifically to avoid for things like this. Cronyism is actually a term used. Cronyism. And if you take time to read the Federalist papers, Hamilton, Madison, and these are the topics they're discussing, is this very thing that's happening in 7 days in our government. Unqualified people, donors, political associates, in the case of the Trump administration, Donald Trump specifically, anybody that pressed lips to ass got a job. It just depends on how long you held the kiss, I guess, and how much money came with it as to what level of job you got. So, ripping down the list of the unqualified. Kristi Noem, the governor of the great state of South Dakota, population 832,000 souls, smaller than Portland, Oregon, the entire state, in population, intimately prepared to be head of Homeland Security because she has absolutely zero experience with anything in relation to Homeland Security because she's governor of fucking South Dakota, which is a state that pretty much, other than the natives who it used to belong to, who we stole it from, nobody wants to be there. And it's certainly not under risk of terrorist attack. Homeland Security, yeah, we're in good fucking hands. Elise Stefanik, the New York representative. If ever there's been a bigger sycophant, there's the whole list is sycophants, don't get me wrong, but she is a master of switched allegiances, switched parties, switched everything to follow the gravy train of Donald Trump. Intimately prepared to be our ambassador to the UN. Pete Hegseth. Now, Pete I love, because Pete's hearing's coming up in a couple of days, and he's been nominated to be the head of our Defense Department with an $832 billion, and that's an undercount. $2 trillion a year spend. All of our armed forces, Secretary of Defense, ex-major in the National fucking Guard, never managed more than 100 people. When he did manage 2 nonprofits, he stole from them. In addition to which, he's an alcoholic. I know because I'm in recovery and it takes one to know one. This guy is so unqualified for this position, it makes my eyes bleed. I jumped. Oh yeah, Zeldin, yeah, that high-level oil executive who's going to be in charge of the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, that was really built to protect us from companies in the oil, gas, and plastics industry. God, that sounds like such a great hire. To hire somebody that wants to get rid of all regulations that protect, once again, just common citizens so that they can increase corporate profits and their own net worth, but completely unqualified to run the EPA. Oh, I love Mike Huckabee, self-help writer, one-time governor of Arkansas. Of course, Fox News host, motherfucker, there you go. That's all you gotta do. If you're in Fox News, you're almost guaranteed a job in this batshit administration. He's gonna be what the hell? Mike Huckabee has been appointed our special ambassador to Israel. He knows so much about the Middle East from Arkansas. He's such a strong connection, and he's gonna go into Israel and help with this Hamas and Hezbollah, Lebanon, Palestine. Well, it used to be Palestine, but it's now just a big giant pile of rubble with a whole bunch of terrified, starving to death people in it that are minimalized, trivialized, and nobody wants to even talk about anymore. Oh, that was yesterday's news too. Right. Yeah, Mike Huckabee, he ought to kill it. Where else? Another one here. And I am not going to get through these. I'm not going to get through all of these, but Sean Duffy as Transportation Secretary. First of all, I want to say Pete Buttigieg is one smart fucking dude. The dude's a rock star. If he wasn't gay, let's be blunt. If he wasn't gay, he'd be a perfect presidential candidate. But if we can't get a woman elected to the president's office, what opportunity is a gay man going to have, an openly gay man? This guy takes no shit, though. He's a real veteran. Okay? He's a real soldier. And he's brilliant. And we're replacing him with the intimately respected and esteemed Sean Duffy from, you guessed it, Fox News. Oh, and by the way, he's an ex-reality TV star from the Real World Boston series. Sean is... What could possibly go wrong with transportation, with this guy in charge? It's not like that transportation includes things like railroads. Carts tipping over on the railroads, pouring into rivers full of noxious chemicals, and trains smashing into trains, and trains blowing up, and trains transporting nuclear waste through metropolitan areas. The airplanes, all of the airlines, shipping, ground transportation, trucking, etc. I mean, for a guy with absolutely not a shred of experience in that field, or in transportation in general, but he is an ex-reality star, which is another requirement or a plus on your resume if you want to work for this administration, because it's run by the biggest reality star ever, and his reality fake TV show somehow convinced people that he was a real person, but he's not. He's just the same guy that was made up for a reality TV show. Except now our unbelievable reality is he's now running our country and he's not real. So he appointed more people that aren't real to be in positions of massive authority. The list goes on. 63 of his appointees have ties to Fox News, had events at Mar-a-Lago, are multi-million dollar investors. The $250 million Elon Musk directly gave through his super PAC to Donald Trump that effectively bought this presidency through his use of social media as well, which should be, of course, against the law, who is not an elected official in the slightest, but he's getting paid back as well. Deregulation really helps out all of his corporations and his incessant need to be the ultimate megalomaniac. Wow, I said that all in one run-on sentence. 63, hold a party at Mar-a-Lago. You've got a position in the government. Be a supporter. Marjorie Taylor Greene even got a fucking job. You know, he tried to run Gaetz through as Attorney General. I mean, and Tulsi Gabbard. I forgot about Tulsi Gabbard. I know I'm running short on time on this episode, but yeah, Tulsi Gabbard. She of the Assad supporting, Syrian supporting, flip-flopper, ex-Democrat, National Guards woman, really no fucking experience whatsoever. This clown, it's not a clown bus. It's a ship of fools. And there's a whole lot more to this list I just can't get through because I get so agitated when I start talking about this that my head spins and my brains want to melt. Anyway, these are some facts and some truths, not just my opinions. However, if you don't like what I say, well, fuck you. You don't have to listen. Just turn it off.